Hey guys, how's it going and welcome to Miller Ages Gaming. 2016's been a hell of a year. It's got many ups and downs, and this is just as evident in our gaming industry. Today we're going to be counting down the top 10 best games from this year. Remember to stay tuned for our top 10 worst games list. So let's jump straight in at number 10. What could be better than tearing through the Australian countryside in cars that the majority of us will never be able to afford, at speeds most of us can only dream of? Our number 10 pick is Forza Horizon 3. Forza Horizon 3 makes full use of the Xbox One extra power as the first Forza game and current gen exclusive. It's a visual pleasure to race through the beautiful scenery, and is one of the few games that made me say wow out loud. The game is so full of content, it's easy to lose track of time, and I often found myself popping on for a few races before bed and forgetting to actually sleep. The single player is immersive enough, but couple that with the fact that everything can be done in co-op with friends, and you have potential time sink of monumental proportions, and easily a contender for Racing Game of the Year. The fourth iteration of this franchise is a return to form, with a whole new cast of characters and some returning familiar faces. The fact this game isn't any higher is a true testament to the quality of the games released this year. Coming in at number 9 is Microsoft exclusive Gears of War 4. What can I say about Gears of War 4 that hasn't already been said? The ultimate co-op shooter, whether you like horde, campaign or good old online multiplayer. You're going to have a blast with this, with a whole roster of new characters and some returning old faces. The game's graphics certainly helped by the hardware boost from Xbox 360 to Xbox One and PC. Each mode in the game provides plenty of content. Each on their own would be worth the price, but as a package this is a must for any fan of shooters. Despite its name, it's not the first entry in this franchise, although I doubt anyone would have heard of the others. This gained traction by doing what everyone had been asking of Call of Duty and taking the genre back down to earth. As you may have guessed, coming in at number 8 is Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 takes a franchise way back to World War I, in a move which fans of first-person shooters found refreshing, as some developers decided that everyone wanted futuristic setting. EA and DICE decided to go back to their root. Instead of fighter jets and tanks, you have little Fokkers and, well, tanks, but older ones. It's essentially the same old Battlefield formula, but with a new perspective, which makes the game feel familiar yet fresh. Despite being better than its predecessor in every way, this brilliant game was overshadowed by the other heavy hitters that come out around the same time. For a new first-person shooter franchise to be sandwiched around Call of Duty and Battlefield, sales were never going to be amazing. Our number 7 game is, of course, Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 takes what makes the original great and adds more varied maps and single player mode that the original was sorely lacking. This game reviewed well across the board, but unfortunately, due to the games it had to contend with at release, it sold less than expected. Titanfall 2 is an improvement over the first in every way, with tighter mechanics, better graphics, and new and more interesting guns and mechs. Here's hoping the poor sales don't stop EA from making more games in this franchise. This game, first released in June, sees you take control of a young boy in a dystopian future where you have to solve various challenging puzzles and avoid death, which is lurking around every corner. Our number 6 spot goes to the spiritual successor of Limbo, Inside. This beautiful puzzle platformer makes use of colours and lighting perfectly, with most of the game being black and white and colour only used to highlight parts of the environment. The game is very quiet, with music cues used to emphasise drama within the game. This game is very dark in nature, and you will have more than likely die a lot. There are various ways to die in the game, be it mutilated by dogs or blown apart by shockwaves. These deaths are portrayed in a realistic way, therefore it's probably not one for young kids. If you ever need to prove that games are art, look no further than Inside. It can sometimes be hard to make a title stand out in a franchise as well established as this one, but this game manages it. The franchise has had many hits and misses, but truly smashes it out of the park with this one. Our number 5 game is Final Fantasy 15. Although the game starts off slow, it soon picks up. You have 4 characters in your group, each of which has their own traits and skills, be it cooking, fishing, survival, or photography. This game has a vast, beautifully crafted world and is just as fun to drive around in, taking in the scenery, as the fighting. This is a game where you can spend hours on end just messing around and not getting bored. The amount of content in this game makes it well worth the cost of the game and is a must for any fans of RPGs. If you're surprised about this game's inclusion, then you must have been living under a rock. The sheer amount of videos on YouTube containing footage is testament to its popularity, and Blizzard's attempt to create a competitive shooter has been a rip-roaring success. Of course, our number 4 game is Overwatch. It was quite hard to say something original about Overwatch. This fantastic shooter has a beautiful art style and some of the best designed characters out. Matches are superbly balanced, feats are rarely crushing, and each game match feels like a learning experience. Win or lose, you feel like you're taking something from every match, which in turn makes you a better player for it. This is how you do a shooter, and is a truly incredible accomplishment by Blizzard. The fact that this game is only 4th truly demonstrates how amazing the top 3 are, and in any other year I believe this could have topped the list. Do you enjoy eating glass for breakfast? Do you ask your family to punch you in the face instead of saying goodbye? Do you have a pile of broken controllers and dents in brick walls from headbutting them? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then our number 3 game will come as no surprise to you. Of course, it's Dark Souls 3. Saying Dark Souls is difficult is like saying the surface of the sun is slightly warm. If you're anything like me, this will result in smashed controllers and a feeling that all the developers bothered to include was the opening 5 minutes and the "you are dead" screen. Enemies and bosses, although difficult, never feel particularly cheap, and you can generally see where you made mistakes, even if you're powerless to do anything about them. Everything from antagonists to armour and weapons are superbly designed, and everything goes beautifully with the bleak setting. This is a brilliant game, but probably not one that you should play if you get angry easily. Dark Souls 3 is a tough yet rewarding game, and the only way you're going to get anywhere in it is to get good. This game is the 4th iteration in the franchise and perfect last hurrah for the protagonist. The first 3 were brilliant, and there was rounded off perfectly by this game. If you have a PS4 and haven't played our number 2 game, then I suggest you go out, pick it up. Go on, pause the video and go now. I'll wait. I am, of course, talking about Uncharted 4. What can I say about Uncharted 4 without sounding like a fangirl at a Justin Bieber concert? This game is more of the same from Nathan Drake, but adds enough to feel fresh yet familiar. With epic action scenes and tight platforming sequences, you struggle to put the controller down for the duration of the whole game, with plenty of edge-of-your-seat moments and scenes that would fit in any Hollywood action movie. Uncharted 4 is a must for any fans of action platformers and will provide you hours of entertainment. Now for the honourable mentions. I feel I've got to mention Stardew Valley. To not recognise this game would be a crime. It's a wonderful game and a must for any fans of Harvest Moon. It's a well-made game which you can play for hours on end and is made even more impressive by the fact that it was made by just one man. The Last Guardian finally released this year after many years in development. This puzzle platformer sees your character and his half-bird, half-mammal creature Trico traverse the terrain using each other to reach the places you can't. After 9 years in development, this game, released to a warm reception, is definitely worth a playthrough, especially if you're a fan of Shadow of the Colossus or Rico. Despite this being a great game, I don't believe it done enough. It seems very similar to Dead Rising 3, and there is only so much crafting weapons and killing zombies you can do. It's still a good game and worth a pick up if you're into zombie games, and it can be good to blow off steam while mowing down hundreds of zombies on your Segway. Our number one game is Cup of Tea. Wait, what? Is this some sort of joke? Right, back to being serious now. The game is a true return to form for the franchise, nearly as old as I am. The game brilliantly builds on the legacy of its predecessor and manages to bypass expectations. Our number one and best game of 2016 is Doom. Doom, a beautifully gory, ultra-violent pile of loveliness. This game definitely isn't one for the kids, with epic brutal glory kills and satisfying weapons. This is easily Game of the Year, and Bethesda Softworks have truly done the franchise proud, breathing new life back into it. Every kill feels satisfying, be it wiping out a room filled of demons with a BFG, ripping eyeballs from floating balls, or stomping on the heads of hordes of demon hellspawn. Despite looking repetitive, Doom does enough to keep you enthralled for hours on end, exploring well-crafted scenery and sending the spawn of Satan back to their dad with their tail between their legs. Doom Guy also, despite being mute, has more personality than the majority of voice protagonists, be it him pushing away the monitor while a scientist was relaying important information, or destroying pods, and with them years of scientific research. Doom Guy, without saying a word, cements himself as one of the best characters this year, and Bethesda fully deserve all the recognition they have and will get for this game.